doing the mobile Bible study game. It's not a game, actually. It's life, right? So, anyways, this is the Bible study for day 4, and we are talking about pride. So, this is talking about humility versus pride. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. And that's in James chapter 4, verse 6. As we saw yesterday, pride is thinking too highly of oneself. The opposite of pride is humility, a virtue God praised. However, it's important to note that humility does not mean to think lowly of oneself. Instead, to be humble is to have an accurate view of oneself and God. Since God created humanity and every individual fearfully and wonderfully, we are valuable in His eyes. He has crowned us with glory and honor. Therefore, we may appreciate our talents, skills, and virtues as gifts from God. We may understand the self we have received. Hey, Lizzie, how's it going, by the way? Something happened with my phone. Since God created humanity and every individually fearfully and wonderfully, we are valuable in His eyes. He has crowned us with glory and honor. Therefore, we may appreciate our talents, skills, and virtues as gifts from God. We may understand the self we have received, meanwhile being aware that sin has damaged us, so we are not perfect anymore. And you, Liz, you were busy with Bible study. Are you talking about the same one, or is it a different one? Welcome, guys. If you got questions, this is Pride Day 4, actually. So right now, that was actually out of Psalms 139, verses 13 through 14, as well as Psalm chapter 8, verse 5. So I'm just reading the devotional right now, actually. It says, humility also means holding other people high and God higher than anything. Other people are as important as we are, and God is indefinitely more important than us. This perspective is liberating since it frees us from jealousy and worries about how others perceive us. It enables us to think less of ourselves. So what do you guys think? What does the word humility evoke in you? Does it sound attractive? Why or why not? And so I don't know. What are your thoughts? Lizzie, what do you think? That's the daily devotional. But I think for me personally, like humility, it's attractive. It's great to see on other people, right? And it's great to see when somebody does an awesome job, but they're not boastful about it, right? And so I think it's great to, I want to say take pride in your work, but I feel like taking pride puts the emphasis on you and what you did, right? And Manuel, how you doing? Welcome to the Bible study. And hey, to the rest of you guys, I'm Kyle. Nice to meet you, and welcome to my truck. So the next reading is in James 4, verse 6, and it says, but he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Michael Craig, why are we hailing Satan? Satan's real. You better believe that. Yeah, Manuel, we're doing Bible study. This is actually on Pride. And Siraj in India, how's it going? And Rocky, good morning, where are you? Teresa, do you think guns should be banned? In a perfect world, we would have no guns, but we're in a fallen world, right? So the whole thing with guns is that it basically, it equalizes the playing field for the people that can't physically defend themselves as well, right? So I mean, Manual, thank you. I feel like, I don't know if there's a normal filter on here, but it makes my teeth look super white. That's not real life, just so you know. But so anyways, I would say, I mean, man, guns are like a necessary evil, right? But the problem is if you ban guns, then only the criminals will have them, right? So you got to let the good guys have them also, right? So what else we got going on? We got all sorts of stuff. You guys are busy today. Rocky Wright from Luck Now. We talk about guns, my teeth. Take you job, bro. Michael Craig, why would you read such a bad translation? Why not read a modern one? Well, it's because everybody wants to hear something different. If you want, I'll change that to, what do you want? ESV, English Standard Version. And Dr. Ketchup, you're asking about climate change being real. Hey, if you go back and you look at the old farmers' almanacs, then you can see it's not actually climate change as far as I'm concerned. It's climate cycle. So I think that that's kind of like, I mean, you could see the weather patterns are changing, but I don't think that they're permanent. If anything, let's think about like how the sun actually works, right? If you're going to go off that logic, but that means that there's only so much fuel in it, right? So my style is super, thank you. I cowboyed up today for you, PRK. And Homer Simpson, I only sometimes listen to Elvis Presley. And Rodrigo, Manda, Salve para o Brazil. Are you from Brazil? No habla español or poquito. I don't know. Anyways, always isn't a word. Anyway, you meant to say yes. Anyway, so Teresa, thank you. I mean, the whole thing is we have to like fully develop the thought behind those, you know, those things, whether it's like guns or abortion or, you know, all of this identity stuff. Like, we really have to think all the way through it, not just surface level, right? Give your enemies the other cheek. Yeah, but here's the thing is, I mean, there's a different context of turning the other cheek, right? So I think that you have to read further into that. And just because, I mean, it's just talking about you're not necessarily going to just take it, right? You're offering it as saying, hey, look, you can have this one too, right? But I think that you ultimately, you have to evaluate the situation. But I think it's okay to defend yourself, right? Give your enemies the other cheek. PRK, how much cap and specs? How much were they? I actually traded for these, but I think probably if you bought them new, they'd be about $300. B Burwer, I think I know what you're asking, sir, and welcome to my Bible study. So I'm not going to answer that. Thank you, Dr. Ketchup. And you Muslim, I can't read what you guys are writing. But guys, I am in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's about an hour south of Denver. But welcome to the channel. So I switched this up so it reads easier. But this is James 4 in the English Standard Version. It says, but he gives more grace. Therefore, it says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So what do you guys think? You believe in the devil? Do you believe in God? I mean, I think that we're all supposed to resist evil, right? And the question is how do we define morality, right? And I feel like the Bible does a really good job of doing that. That's kind of why I like to get in it, because not only that, but it changes the way that you view everything. So I feel like we tend to have such a worldly perspective, right? So I like to challenge myself, right? This is really for me, but I want to share it with everybody else because I feel like If it adds value to my life, it should add value to you guys, your guys' lives. If even if you're not a believer, I feel like this is very applicable general life knowledge. General life knowledge. I feel like I lost my voice yesterday. We're gonna read Psalms chapter 139, verse 13. This is to the choir master, a psalm of David. For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, my soul knows it very well. I mean, what do you guys think about how we were put together, right? We are not going to answer your question, Alex and Ryan. Are the Venezuelans bad in Colorado like the news say they are? That problem is a real problem. The biker gang that they said supposedly went out to meet up with those guys, that is fake news as far as I've heard. But yeah, the laws in real estate, actually we're meeting up with my real estate buddy here in a minute, and he can bring you guys up to date on that. But basically the state, as far as I understand, has first right of refusal on any real estate transaction of a family home, right? Ryan, I appreciate your prayers. Appreciate those regardless. In my personal opinion, we have leadership out here that is kind of, I would say, godless. And I just say that because we don't have healthy boundaries. I feel like we've opened all of the facilities to a point where we can't we can't have sustainable help offered to those individuals, if that makes sense. But anyways, it's frustrating. But I mean, it's also happening all over our nation, right? So, apologize, my voice is shot, guys, but what do you guys think about this? For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. Have you guys ever thought about how your body was constructed? Like, I mean, literally to have conscious thoughts, be able to breathe the air. I mean, how unique is the environment that we exist in, right? I feel like it's extremely rare that we can just exist in this world on this level. And if you ever look up the odds or the probability of you being you, life existing on a planet, it's extremely rare that we're here. So I feel like that's very unique to us specifically, right? We're gonna read Psalm 8. If you guys have any questions, just throw them down in the bottom. Appropriate questions, Alex and CeeLo and Jed. You guys be nice. How majestic is your name to the choir master, according to the Gittith, a psalm of David. O Lord our God, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babies and infants, you have established strength because of your foes, to still the enemy and the avenger. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you care for him? Yet you have made him a little lower than the heavenly beings, and crowned him with glory and honor. You have given him dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, and also the beast of the field, and the birds of the heaven, and the fish of the sea, whatever passes along the paths of the seas. O Lord our God, how majestic is your name in all the earth. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I'm waiting for my buddy. I thought I saw him pull around the corner, but maybe it didn't happen. But anyways, I feel like it's fascinating to think about being given dominion over these things, right? I think that it's fascinating to think that God gave us that job, right? So if he gave us this job, then what do you feel like he thinks? Do you think, I mean, he has to think that we're capable, right? So if capable, then, I mean, are we willing, and do we have the comprehension, right, of the task at hand? And if you look, I mean, the vast majority of what we do is trying to create structure and organization around what we're doing so that we can have some sort of plan into what we're doing, right? So when we're doing that, I feel like it's interesting because God wanted to also add purpose with all of these things that he gifted us the responsibility and dominion over, right? So not only, I mean, they all interact, right? And I think that we all seek to know the purpose and intentionality of what God wanted and wished for our lives. And you can often see this when people have like a reluctance to step into their purpose, right? It's almost as if they're lacking purpose, so they don't know how to focus. They don't know how to create value in their own life. And the value comes from a lot of what they're doing, right? In their identity. So you can tell when people's identity is in jeopardy, because it's basically like they don't have any self-worth. And so that's exactly what happens. But I think
your credit card with Apple Card. Earn up to 3% daily cash back on every purchase that you can grow over time when you open a savings account through Apple Card. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners, subject to eligibility. Savings and Apple Card by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Member FDIC. Terms and more at
an ad. I am paused. Somehow my phone randomly just started playing YouTube in the background after 16. Oh, we're back. Guys, are we back? Hey, come here. I have a question for you. You don't have to be on the film. Yeah. We're not going to name this man, but we got a question for him. Come here, sir. He doesn't want to be on film. All right. So without revealing your identity, what is the new law in real estate?
Which one?
The one, well, these guys were asking about Venezuelans coming up here. I was like, this guy's coming. He is on his way. So, I'm not licensed, and they don't know who you are.
Well, you can't non-renew people unless you're going to sell the unit or remodel it, and then you have to offer them a first right of refusal if you're remodeling it. You can't. It takes you 64 to 84 days to evict somebody, but code violations are. They give you 14 days to remedy the code violations. So you have to accept people, you can't decline them, and you can't kick them out, and you can't non-renew their lease. And they're saying it's the building owner's fault that these gangs are taking over the buildings.
So, is it as bad as it's portrayed?
The gangs?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm not in Aurora.
Okay, so that's predominantly just there.
Well, I haven't been involved in the gang stuff. It did feel pretty dangerous trying to get rid of some homeless people with guns at one of my rentals a while back.
Yeah.
That was pretty awful. It took me 64 days to kick them out.
64 days to kick somebody out, guys.
And our awesome governor made me physically serve them instead of posting it to the door, so to put my life in danger, to tell them to move.
Right. And
20 people living in a one-bedroom
20 verse 1. How does that sound, guys? And they only get an upgrade if they go to prison. They don't have to pay, right? I mean, that's the basic mechanics of it, right?
Yep.
So, all right. Well, guys, I don't see any more comments, but I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for joining me on the day 4 of Pride Bible study. Tomorrow I'm actually going to be doing this in the morning for day 5. At least I think so. So right now I think let's just say 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. That's what we're looking at. So if you want to come on, you can be part of the Bible study. You can continue to harass me, or you can ask me any other questions. So I'm going to just close out in prayer real quick. So, dear God, I just want to thank you for today. Thank you for such a beautiful day. Thank you for all of the prosperity that you poured out in the form of different work and friendships, relationships, family. Thank you for the people that joined on my channel. I just ask that you keep all of my friends, family, loved ones, everybody that joined us here. Keep us all healthy and put a veil of your protection over us. But we just give this day up to you. Thank you for all that you've done. In your name, amen. Guys, thank you for joining, and try to catch you 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.